Hi and welcome. I'm Lisa here for Trinity Stamps. Thanks for joining me for another card video. Today I'm sharing a birthday card using the Sweet stamp set and coordinating dies. I'm doing lots of Copic coloring with this image. To get started, I'll stamp the image using Gina K Amalgam ink in the color Whisper onto Copic Express It blend cardstock. And then I'm going to do some Copic coloring. I'm going to use E40, E41, and E42 to color the icing. So I'm going to start with the lightest shade, which is E40, and I'm going to map out the areas for my shading. Now, once I have those mapped out, I will go in with E42 and E41 to start darkening up the area. But notice how I'll never leave that original mapped area with these darker colors. Once I have the shading done, I'm going to start laying down E41 by flicking it from the right towards the center and from the left towards the center to create this swirled look. So then I'm going to come back in and start to darken up the shaded areas even more with the E41 and E42. So in the picture that I'm using to color this picture here, it's a cupcake. It has 3 really deep cracks in it. So I thought, well, if I come in with a darker shade of natural gray, which is N08, to create shading under the edge of the icing and create those deep cracks, that, maybe that would help it some. Now, if I had this to do over again, I probably would just leave the cracks off of the cupcake completely, but I went with it and I think overall it turned out okay. So once I have the N08 cracks done, I came in with N6 and added some more shading underneath the line of the icing, and then E07 to start coloring in and coloring over those dark gray areas. Then I came in with R39 and R59. Now the R39, I went ahead and finished coloring in the cupcake, and the R59, I'm just going back over and adding more depth to it and just tweaking it until I'm happy with it. Pretty much is all I'm doing at this point. I'm going to go ahead now with this wrapper. Now I started with E07 first, and watch how I leave a lot of white area for the cupcake. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I want to create a light side and a dark side for each little pleat in the cupcake wrapper. So E07 got me started, and then I came in with N09 to create some depth there. And then I'm going to come in with R59 and R39. We're using the same colors that I used on the cupcake. Then I'm going to do some coloring with N0 to fill in the white areas, and then we're going to do tip to tip technique with my blender pen in E07 just to go ahead and finish filling in areas. And then I'm going to take my blender pen and wash out some of that color on one side of the pleat just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I'm going to finish this up by coming in with my other colors and just tweaking this until I'm happy with it. So I'm going to turn some music on. We're adding some details and just doing our thing here. I'm going to turn some music on while we finish this cupcake up, and then we'll pick back up in just a few minutes. Okay, so now that we're done coloring the cupcake, I ran it through my die cut machine with the coordinating die, and then I've added repositionable tape to the back of it so I can center it on a 4¼ by 5½ inch card base. That's Nina Desert Storm. I'm adding the smaller stamps from this stamp set so that I can add some detail around the cupcake, and I'm just using red and brown inks to do that. Now, I thought, the card was a little bit flat. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll use my mini scoreboard and emboss a rectangle around my card base. And it just adds a nice subtle touch. It's just something there without taking away from everything else you've already done. Add some mounting foam to the back of the cupcake and then reposition it on our card base. Now, my first plan was to use a sentiment strip. And that's why I had went ahead and added the cupcake with the mounting foam. However, once I started looking at it more, I decided I was going to go directly onto the card base with my sentiment. And I just laid it in my MISTI. I had no problems doing it this way. But if you wanted to go directly to the card base, now you know you could do that before you add the mounting foam to the back of the cupcake. So I used that same red ink and went ahead and stamped that sentiment. Now I decided I wanted to work on the inside of the card. That's something I'm trying to do more now, is to do something on the inside to dress it up. So I stamped that sentiment "Happy Birthday" with VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I'm going to take the cupcake and I'm stamping it part of the way off of the corner of the card there, using that same red ink. Now, I finished this off with 3 little red gems stickers on the front, on the hearts, and you can see that in the picture coming up. So that's our card finished. Let me know what you think about the cupcake in the comments below. And remember, hop over to my YouTube channel to check out the blueberry lemon version of the cupcake. I absolutely love that one. I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope you'll click that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of new content to this channel. Now, for more information about the products I use, please head over to the Trinity Stamps website, and I hope you have an amazing day.